Let's join Heather and board certified behavior analyst Pat Adkins from our community partner, Logan Community Resources, as they talk about this week's high leverage practice.
Welcome to Little Bits of TLC, the podcast where we explore the dynamic world of education. Join our host, Heather Volchko, as this season we focus on high leverage practices, HLPs. Each episode will examine a different HLP, essential strategies designed to enhance teaching and improve outcomes across various educational settings. These practices focus on collaboration, assessment, social, emotional, behavioral support, and instruction, benefiting all K-12 students. I hope you're ready to be both challenged and inspired, because this season is all about mastering the HLPs. This is Little Bits of TLC. Looking to become an RBT in a school setting? Or just want training that actually fits the work you do every day? Our school-based RBT 40-hour training was built just for that. This course meets the 2026 training requirements and was created by real school-based specialists who know what the job actually looks like. It's engaging, up-to-date, and grounded in the classroom, not a clinic. With cross-training connections for para-educators and study tools to help you pass your exam with confidence, this training goes way beyond checking a box. Led by Heather Volchko, Candace McCoy, and Manny Wasius, and featuring Dr. Richard Van Acker, it's the first course of its kind that we know of, and we're proud of that. Head to university.thresholdlearning.org to enroll and get started. Let us teach you the basics, get you thriving, and move you onward through your journey to becoming an RBT today.
Teachers lead and participate in a range of meetings, like meetings with families, individualized education programs or IEP teams, individualized family services plans, IFSP teams, instructional planning, with the purpose of identifying clear, measurable student outcomes and developing instructional and behavioral plans that support these outcomes. They develop a meeting agenda, allocate times to meet the goals of the agenda, and lead in ways that encourage consensus building through positive verbal and nonverbal communication, encouraging the sharing of multiple perspectives, demonstrating active listening, and soliciting feedback.
This week, we're talking about high leverage practice number 2, organizing and facilitating effective meetings with professionals and families. And Pat, I know for you and your practice, you are doing this a whole lot. So what does this high leverage practice look like for you?
Yeah, that's tricky. So it really depends on which community partner we're working with, what clientele we're working with. It's just so individualized. Maybe I should start with who are the different kind of people that we meet with and what that looks like. We're not staffed by a school district, but we have a unique MOU with the school district, and we're just kind of community partners. So we rent space inside of one of the schools, and we have an MOU with them, and some collaborative agreements with what that looks like. And so it's been interesting over the last few years. We've developed a relationship in which we're doing some consulting, and again, we're not like staffed by the school, but we do a lot of like collaboration with the schools. And so a lot of that involves all the students that we serve are technically enrolled at that school, but then we kind of meet with the teachers and the parents and other staff to kind of facilitate what that looks like in terms of their schedule, their hours, their IEP goals. And so really what that looks like for us is in a traditional clinic setting, we still have our parent meetings where it's just us and the parents, but then we'll also then meet regularly with school staff, teachers, principals, and then sometimes with them and the parents all together. So sometimes we'll have our separate meetings then all together. So those meetings, with our partnership with the families that are in that school look very different from, let's say, I have another community partnership where we are inside a Boys and Girls Club location. And so that looks a little bit different, where it's a little bit less maybe focus on some of the education aspects, maybe more of integration into club, which looks a little bit different than integration into the school setting. We have another community partnership where those meetings maybe consist of parents, and then there's like an alternative school and like an inpatient setting that we're in, where again, integration into that setting looks a lot different. And so again, it's maybe less of the education piece and more of, how can we work on generalizing and maintaining some of those behavior goals into that setting. And then our other community site is inside of a center that facilitates like family and community supports in the community, that advocates for child and parent services against child abuse. And so we don't really have as much collaboration in the sense of they like offer us referrals for maybe families in need of supports. but really we're just kind of like renting space in that building. So even then, like we may help kind of facilitated like parent visits and maybe kind of like what those meetings look like. But again, I mean, I guess that was a really long-winded answer to your question. It just really depends. Like, gosh, there's just so many different kind of meetings that we have based upon the partnerships that we oversee.
But I appreciate how you're really bringing forward, like, it's complex. Like, there are so many different people, there are so many different needs, and especially with this population, there is just a lot of services that are attached, and each of those services have their own fields and their own backgrounds and their own access points and their own, processes and everything. So I'm curious, like, when you have, I mean, at any one of these sites or even just collectively, like, how do you get everybody on the same page? How do you actually have an effective meeting where you've got so many different needs that are all needing to get both like figured out, but also planned for and supported? And, just like, how do you get all those people at the same place at the same time and actually have a productive conversation?
Yeah, I mean, that's so hard. So even when I jumped in this role, and I'm about a year into this role, and so this role is unique. The position is new. However, like some of these sites are newer and some of the sites that I'm overseeing have been established. So that's been interesting too to kind of step into a role where maybe there were practices and procedures put in place before that, some were really effective and some maybe weren't. And it wasn't necessarily that they weren't effective, I guess, objectively, but maybe just for the way that my brain works or my organization, my schedule, I would prefer it a different way. And so I'm thinking specifically about the community partnership that we have with one of the school districts, and that even from when I stepped in has changed a lot, and we've learned a lot, this being a very new territory for kind of our area and this unique opportunity. I think from what it sounds like, where we started, where we were just kind of playing it by ear, honestly, like meeting with teachers and principals and school administrators that just needed our help. And I think we just showed up and said, like, hey, what can we do? And now that fortunately the partnership has grown and they've seen the need and we've kind of been able to meet those needs, it's required a lot more. So now it's not just, hey, how can we help? It's we have regular meetings now with the district director of special education. Well, I guess what we've noticed is that we've had meetings with him, like in this school, he's getting, lists of names of kiddos that need extra help. But yet we've also been, we're in that space. So we hear, face to face conversations from teachers that say, hey, we really need help with this kiddo. But yet they're not necessarily maybe following the hierarchy to the director. So I've even caught wind of that. We've been kind of in the middle of that. So even that has shown us like, okay, there's better communication systems that we all need to be in place, right? So teachers are telling us in person, hey, we really need help. But yeah, apparently, because we're not, on staff or part of the education system, we're not maybe privy to some of those other systems that the director has made us aware of that says, hey, we'd love for you to help with this, but actually the teachers need to follow this procedure. And so we've oddly enough kind of had to almost facilitate like, hey, how can we all get together and formulate this better like system to make sure that we're following this plan that you want us to follow. And so even just since I've been in this role, we've adapted this kind of new system and referral process, I guess, on how can we make sure that everyone's on the same page, because teachers want us to take on this person, but maybe higher ups want us to take on this person, but they're not necessarily maybe in the school seeing it day to day. And then also, how do we get parents that are reaching out to us individually to know that there's also more of a referral process? And so we've really had to set up more regular meetings with everyone that's at the table and make sure that there's just like a clear system involved when there's just so many different parties. And that's really helped a lot. And that one I think has been the trickiest just because there's so many different pieces to that and so many different people involved. Our other community partnerships, I feel like is a little bit more simple in terms of just there being less people that you have to go through. But I think once we kind of evaluated, okay, who all has a say in this team and this deliberation, and then how do we all get together, and then how do we all get together regularly enough to make it work between all of our schedules. And so that's been tricky.
Yeah, well, and I think if I'm hearing you correctly, I think some of these things are even just that you've had to walk through figuring out how to schedule, structure, invite, even to get it to happen. And that you've really learned through trial and error what did work, what didn't work. So let's keep what did and toss what didn't. And now can we systemize what did work to then be sort of replicable as we're now really partnering together. It's not just this one off. So I'm curious. I know one of the things we talk about in high leverage practices is what is it, but also what is it not? So it sounds like if you've walked through some trial and error, you've probably had some conversations where maybe folks at the table thought that this was really effective and we've come to like either a mutual conclusion or that there's some finality or something has been accomplished and maybe in reality it is not as effective as some people might have perceived. So I'm curious for you, have you seen meetings where maybe people are thinking that it's been an effective meeting, but it's maybe not meeting the mark that you would really anticipate?
And I'm kind of going back to our specific community partnership with the school. Again, it's this weird dynamic since we have our separate, just individual meetings with the families that we're serving that are clients of ours. Parents maybe want to meet and talk about goals in the treatment plan or the behavior plan. Then it kind of bleeds into like, well, what about during those times when maybe we are staffing those kiddos in their general education classroom or in their special education classroom? How, is that looking with collaboration with those teachers or paras? And then what about the times when you're actually not staffing them, but you're in the building? And then that's kind of where it gets into like, okay, they have suggestions or ideas or questions or concerns. And we certainly want to help, but we also need to bring in the school staff too, because even if we are, let's say, in full agreement and we think that this is a great idea, there's only so much that we can say and do without really wanting to ask the school. And vice versa, right? The school may say, hey, we want to do this, but yet again, we need to bring in the parents. And so we've really had to work around that. And I think that there have been a number of times where maybe either party wants to see something being done. But if the other party isn't there as well, we really just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And I mean, it sounds so, I guess, trivial and maybe like common sense, but I've been surprised with how maybe often that's happened and how we've had to learn a lot through enough meetings where we don't have everyone there involved that maybe needs to be involved or all the parties there to be able to prove all the things that people want to get done. And so that's definitely happened. We've had to work through that a lot. And it takes time sometimes too when you can't accommodate everyone's schedule. So we'll have to set up separate meetings, but that definitely happens.
So, okay, if you could wave your magic wand and all of these perfect things come together, right? I'm wondering when you've got so many different people, and especially when you start getting into like transition and adulthood, like there's just so many different specialists and experts that are drawing, their expertise into and kind of in collaboration with the student and their family, you could wave that magic wand and you would have that perfect meeting where folks could be on the same page and services are getting aligned and the plan is running, like what would be some of those things that you're like, gosh, if this was true and this was true, like this would be a breeze.
I recognize that not everyone's going to agree or be on the same page, right? Like, I think that that would be naive of me to think that that's even a reality or a realistic expectation. So it's not even that I like want or expect everyone to agree per se, because I also like there's a lot of value in disagreeing and having, some of those conversations. I guess I just wish that there was a way to get everyone even just at the same table at the same time to talk about it. And so that's sometimes even the hardest part is that everyone's schedules are so complicated. So even if we can't all get together, then sometimes it's like, okay, can you send me the notes or can we meet another time then separately to discuss this, which is fine. And that works out sometimes okay. But sometimes that just then makes coming to agreements or decisions so much lengthier of a process and much more complicated. And so it's just so nice when like everyone from a team can really agree to be there at the same time and work out in their schedule because then like we can field all those questions and then everyone can kind of like work it out. And again, like it's not that we're all going to agree, but we can at least be there then to discuss it. And so that would be like my one thing that I wish in like a perfect world. I wish that every meeting could work for everyone's schedules and that we can all discuss things at real time, really work things out, work out all the kinks, but it never happens that way. And there's always either someone that can't make it or someone that's late, which is understandable. And that's life. And I think that that's something that we've had to work around and adjust to and pivot because that's just, again, that's part of life. But that's been the most difficult piece, I think, is just like involving everyone that really needs to be involved. And as easy as it would be to be like, you know what, like, we'll catch them up when we need to be and we'll just make this decision now. And sometimes you have to do that, right? Like sometimes you have to make decisions now because there's a deadline. But as much as we try to say, hey, let's just make sure that like everyone approves of this and everyone is at least like can we agree on at least parts of this before we really make a final decision? And that's hard to do when not everyone can kind of be in the same space at the same time.
Of course. So then it sounds like that table is really important because a lot of those decisions are being made for you. Like, what's that magic wand? What if you've got everybody at the table? What's that
Mm.
next magic wand that you're like, and now we're going to be able to really pull it together and walk away knowing that we're all on the same page or that we're doing what's right for the student?
So, like, what would be my next like thing that I would use my magic wand for?
Yeah, like you've got everybody there. Now, how
Okay.
are we going to make sure that this actual meeting, now that we've got everybody at the table,
Mm.
that part's going to be really what we want it to be?
I feel like the next biggest hurdle that's coming up in my mind is putting like the personal agendas aside and making sure that we're all, again, willing to do whatever it takes for the client in mind, which again sounds so like, okay, duh, right? Like that's such an obvious, like, this is silly. Why are we even talking about this? But I've again been surprised with maybe just the amount of professional meetings that I've been a part of, where maybe certain folks at the table kind of lose sight of that. And as passionate as maybe we all get for what we want and maybe what we even think is best for the client, there are times where we can maybe push our agenda and there's some compromise, and other times where people really dig their heels in the sand and you have to decide what is something I'm going to die on this hill for and something that I'm going to say, you know what, it's not worth that. And as strong as I feel about this, maybe it's not something that I'm going to win this battle today. So I'm going to have to put it aside. And that's the thing that I think is the next biggest hurdle, I guess, is just that sometimes it's so difficult to all come to an agreement and decide like which hill are we going to die on. And not everyone is willing to die on the same hill.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this conversation because you see the complexity of not just scheduling and getting people to the table, but then once we are there, there's a ton of other landmines that can sneak up and really undermine the work that we're there to do at the table. And I know you're constantly interacting and engaging with not just getting, certain folks in a certain building together at the same time, but you're crossing sectors of all kinds of different domains that are all either providing services or getting ready to provide services. There's all kinds of, you really live in the messy part of, scheduling, hosting, facilitating these conversations. So thank you for bringing forward how messy that is. As much as it would be nice to be like, here's, the quick, clean, easy ways to, organize a meeting and facilitate good meeting structure. Like it's just not always that easy, especially with this population. They just have a lot of needs. And that means that sometimes the collaboration around it is also just really heavy too. So thank you so much for bringing forward all of that expertise that you've got from everything that you're doing out here.
Yeah, thank you.
Working with students who need long-term individualized support? Project Base is a 4-strand project designed for educators in self-contained classrooms serving students with low incident needs. You'll get step-by-step guidance on building a program that focuses on communication, daily routines, and real-world skill building. From setting up the classroom environment to designing personalized plans, this course helps you create a space where your students can grow and succeed in school and into adulthood. Led by Chris Zielinski and Carly Dietz, Project Base offers practical strategies, case studies, and planning tools to help you confidently support your students every step of the way. If you're ready to strengthen your program and build something that lasts, this project is your next step. If you're supporting emotional or behavioral needs in general ed or resource classrooms, Project Thrive helps you keep learning on track. And if you're in a therapeutic or alternative setting, building something from the ground up, Project Onward offers the structure and tools to do it well. Head to university.thresholdlearning.org to meet your team and begin building your home base today.
One of the pivotal roles of special education teachers is orchestrating and guiding a diverse array of meetings. From the annual IEP gatherings to ongoing collaborative sessions, crucial for instructional planning and progress monitoring, these meetings are the heartbeat of student support and progress. Picture a room filled not just with parents and teachers, but also with general educators, specialists in reading and curriculum, principals, and sometimes even outside consultants, all united by a common goal: crafting the most possible educational journey for students with disabilities. Under the mandate of IDEA, these meetings aren't just procedural, they're platforms where parents are empowered to actively shape their child's educational path. It's about ensuring that every voice is heard and valued equally, that every participant, including the students themselves, play a pivotal role in these pivotal discussions. To make these meetings effective requires a special set of skills: the ability to articulate the reasoning behind behavior intervention plans, to discuss effective educational practices, and most importantly, to foster consensus among a diverse group of stakeholders. These skills aren't innate, they're honed through deliberate practice and mentorship. Central to this process are the partnership principles: equality, choice, voice, reciprocity, praxis, and reflection. These aren't just ideals, they're guiding lights that help navigate the complexities of communication and decision making in these crucial forums. By embodying these principles, special education teachers not only facilitate smoother meetings, but also cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships with family and colleagues alike. In essence, organizing and facilitating these meetings isn't just a professional duty, it's a commitment enshrined in the code of ethics of the Council for Exceptional Children. It's about working collegially, respecting each other's expertise, and actively involving families in every step of the educational journey. So, as we reflect on the art of facilitating these meetings, let us remember it's not just about what happens in the room, it's about the impact these discussions have on the lives and futures of the students we serve. In the realm of special education, the role of the educator is multifaceted, with one crucial aspect being the ability to lead meetings with colleagues and families effectively. Special educators, given their expertise in practice, assessment, and decision making, are often tasked with steering these critical discussions, particularly during IEP meetings. This responsibility highlights the need for exceptional organizational and communication skills. When a special educator is adept in learning meetings, it ensures clarity and accuracy, minimizing the risk of mistakes or misinformation. However, not all educators naturally excel in this area. For those who find these interactions challenging, it's reassuring to know that proficiency can be developed through dedication and practice. It's vital for instructors, mentors, and collaborators to provide constructive feedback to novices, helping them build their skills in this essential domain. An effective special educator engages with colleagues, HLP1, and families, HLP3, bringing the right people to the table and fostering a collaborative atmosphere. This high leverage practice, or HLP, also necessitates a solid grasp of additional SLPs within the assessment domain, 4 through 6, ensuring that meetings are not only well organized, but also grounded in comprehensive, accurate assessments. Leading meetings effectively is a cornerstone of special education. With commitment and the right support, even those who initially struggle can become adept at this vital skill, ensuring that every meeting contributes positively to the educational journey of their students. Teachers who effectively lead meetings prepare for meetings and facilitate effective meetings. Preparing for meetings. Let's talk about what makes a teacher truly effective at leading meetings. It all starts with preparation. First off, setting a clear goal for the meeting is essential. This helps everyone focus on the priorities and ensures that key tasks are accomplished. Before you even get to the meeting, it's crucial to identify who needs to be there and find a time that works for everyone involved. Once you've nailed down the date, time, and location, communicate these details clearly to all team members along with the meeting agenda. This way, everyone knows what to expect and can come prepared. Speaking of preparation, make sure to outline what each participant needs to bring to the table. For instance, if the meeting involves instructional decisions, let team members know in advance what specific data they should bring, such as assessment results, behavior checklists, or student files. And let's not forget the first impressions. Ensure that the staff responsible for welcoming and guiding parents or families have excellent communication skills. A warm and professional greeting can set a positive tone for the entire meeting. In essence, effective meeting leadership involves thorough preparation, clear communication, and a welcoming atmosphere, all of which contribute to a successful and productive meeting. Facilitate effective meetings. Leading effective meetings is a skill that can make a world of difference in special education. Here's how to make it happen. Start by greeting everyone with a positive tone. It sets a collaborative atmosphere from the get go. Once everyone's settled, remind the team of the ground rules and review the agenda. If possible, have the agenda displayed for all to see throughout the meeting. This keeps everyone aligned and focused. Give team members a chance to introduce themselves. It's a simple step, but it helps build rapport and ensures that everyone feels included. As the meeting progresses, encourage active discussion and ensure that everyone has an equal voice, especially parents. Use guiding questions and checklists to facilitate this process. Staying on track is key. Promote consensus building to keep conversations focused on the meeting's goals. This helps maintain efficiency and ensures that all relevant points are addressed. Make sure everyone understands the student data being discussed. Clear comprehension of this data is crucial for effective instructional decision making. As the meeting wraps up, summarize the accomplishments, review student goals and plans, and schedule any necessary follow up meetings. Finally, outline any follow up actions needed after the meeting, such as coordinating with relative service providers. This ensures that all tasks are completed and nothing falls through the cracks. An effective meeting leader fosters a positive environment, ensures clear communication, and keeps everyone engaged and focused. This approach not only makes meetings more productive, but also strengthens the collaborative effort to support our students. When it comes to supporting teachers in their journey to become effective meeting leaders, school leaders play a crucial role. Here are some tips to help you guide and enhance their skills. First, assess each teacher's comfort level and expertise in running meetings. This helps identify who might need additional support and where to focus your efforts. Next, offer opportunities for novice teachers to observe skilled facilitators in action. Watching experienced professionals lead various types of meetings provides valuable insights and practical examples. Additionally, provide targeted instruction on the skills required to lead effective meetings. This includes both the technical aspects, like understanding IEP components, FBA steps, and manifestation determinations, and the interpersonal skills necessary to make participants feel comfortable and engaged. Don't forget to offer constructive feedback on their performance. Highlight strengths, suggest improvements, and provide access to professional development opportunities tailored to their needs. In essence, supporting teachers involves a blend of evaluation, observation, targeted instruction, and ongoing feedback. By fostering these skills, you help ensure that every meeting is productive, collaborative, and geared toward achieving the best outcomes for students. When we dive into the research on meetings involving professionals and families, we can examine it from two key perspectives: effectiveness and social acceptability. Although research on organizing and facilitating these meetings is somewhat limited, there's a consensus on several crucial elements that enhance their quality. First and foremost, having clear goals for the meeting, setting a structured agenda, and establishing clear expectations are all foundational to running an effective meeting. Active listening and fostering genuine communication are not just niceties. They are essential practices that significantly boost the meeting's productivity. On the flip side, research on social acceptability often zeroes in on the satisfaction of team members and families. It highlights the value of adopting a partnership approach. By actively involving both professionals and parents, we not only gather more meaningful input, but also ensure that our message is received positively. This approach enhances the overall effectiveness of the meetings, making them more collaborative and productive. In essence, combining clear objectives with a partnership-focused approach helps bridge the gap between effectiveness and acceptability, leading to more successful and satisfying meetings for everyone involved. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Join us next week when Heather sits down with our board-certified behavior analyst, Alex Grosso, to talk about our next high-leverage practice.
Hey, before you jump back into your busy life, consider dropping a like and follow @ThresholdLearningTLC on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you like our show, share the podcast with your colleagues. A personal recommendation is by far the best way to promote the podcast. Let them know that they can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else that they catch their podcast. Just be sure to leave a rating and review on your favorite platform. You can email us at info@thresholdlearning.org. We always enjoy connecting with fellow educators and champions for educational justice. You can find everything you're looking for at thresholdlearning.org. See you there. Attention educators pursuing behavior analysis certification and universities preparing them for success. Supervision with TLC offers 100% remote fieldwork supervision designed specifically for school-based professionals. Educators can earn their hours right in their schools without leaving their classroom, all while being supported by experienced BCBAs who understand the realities of education. With month-to-month scheduling, affordable rates, and both live video and asynchronous chat, our fieldwork supervision model is designed to fit into your life, not the other way around. We also invite universities to enhance their graduate programs in partnership with our team of practicing school-based BCBAs. Our fieldwork supervision model keeps students on track for certification by helping them connect their practice to all exam domains so that they can confidently pass the exam. Explore more at university.thresholdlearning.org/supervision or email supervision@thresholdlearning.org to connect. Supervision with TLC, where educators grow into behavior analysts.